All right, as promised, I saw the note of Verne Lundquist being confirmed by CBS that he is going to come back to do the Masters telecast. So I went to the library and said, I got to get the book. I got to bring the book out.
Oh, you're the best.
Because I had Vern on last year when the book came out, and I have to tell you the amount of feedback of people saying it's just so good, Brad, to see Verne Lundquist, and I was so pleased to see you. And by the way, if you have not gotten the book, I'll do it another time, and I'll probably do it like 5 more times in this segment. But make sure you pick up the book.
Believe it or not, it's on Amazon still. It was published in October of 17. Okay. So. And just an aside about the book, when it was published, we never named the New York Times top 10. But 1 week after that book came out, Michelle Obama released her book.
Oh, no.
Which stayed in the first spot for about 2 years. So we were like a whisper. Passing into the night.
Climb the ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's that Lundquist book? It's next to the Obama book. I can't find the Obama.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're back. You're doing this 37th Masters, Vern.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled to be able to do it. I really, really am. My first one was in 1983, and I worked there subsequently every year up until we had a regime change in 97. I think I told you the story last time we chatted. I stayed with CBS after we lost the NFL. Mm-hmm. So I was there in 94. And at the end of 95, we all had to take a reduced salary because we had no National Football League. And at the end of 95, I succumbed to an offer and went to Turner Sports. And I enjoyed my 2.5 years there. But the new boss, who's still my current boss, Sean McManus, said to some of his underlings, why is he on our air? Because he's working for Turner now. Mm. And so that I missed Tiger's first win, and I missed Mark O'Meara's win in 98. And then we got the NFL back, and we were in Nagano, Japan for the Olympics during an ice make in the men's figure skating finals. And Sean and his number 2 guy at the time, Tony Petiti, walked into where Scott Hamilton and I were, and he said, you ready to come home? Mm. And after I got back up off my knees, I said, boy, am I ever. So then I came back in 99. And in my view, Brad, I'd never left the company because we were counter-programming at CBS against whatever Fox and NBC and ABC or ESPN were throwing up with figure skating, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. So I did 20 shows each of those years that I was gone under contract to CBS, but Sean didn't see it that way at the time. And but I've been back, and you talk about day to day, I'm year to year, because I'll never see 80 again, and look fine down there, but it's so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the business of broadcast, when you pull the curtain back and you talk about just figure skating and how you did it, it drew numbers. It still draws big numbers.
Oh gosh, yeah,
huge
not
numbers.
As much as it did. They not as many numbers, not as high a number as they did. Back over my shoulder, I can see a plaque that I have with the 2 mic flags from the Wednesday women's final with Tanya and Nancy, women's short program. Wow. Tanya and Nancy, and the ladies final with Oksana Bayul edged out Nancy controversially. And I was given those by our production supervisor, and he said, you might want to keep these. And the estimated number of viewers for Wednesday night was 126 million. Wow. Now, those are staggering numbers. Yeah. And it's been lowered since then. And then the Friday night was 120 million. And Scott Hamilton said to me after we had gotten through all of it, boy, I'm sure glad I didn't know that many eyeballs were watching us. Because, you're as much as we're used to the idea, you are too, of appearing in front of a camera.
Yep.
That's a staggering number. And it was all the hype, all the hype leading up to Tanya and Nancy taking the ice.
Speaking of hype, here's the book. Just so you guys know, I'm going to keep bringing this up.
Can we do this every week?
Why? Sure. Do I get a commission? Vern Lundquist with us for a few minutes. Okay, so what is your role going to be at Augusta? 16 tower? Or
yeah.
What? Okay.
Well, 16 and 6. Which I've had those two since 2000. When I came back, Sean McDonough, who very prominent ESPN broadcaster and a very good friend, was still under contract at CBS, and he was working the 16th hole. So in '99, when I did come back to CBS, I worked at 14, and then Sean left the company at the end of '99, and they moved me to 16. So I've been there ever since. And I've jokingly said, and Augusta National hadn't bought it yet, that when time comes, I just like a forklift and a platform, and have you guys hoist me up there, and I'll roll over and find a chair and sit up and then do the broadcast. There is a legend. Now, Henry Longhurst, this will be my 22nd year at 16. So I do hold that record. But the guy I surpassed was the inimitable Henry Longhurst, a very, very high cultured Brit. And he talked like this. And there are rumors that they did have a hoist, and he would get up there, roll off the elevated platform into the tower with his bottle of gin.
That is great.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's true. He retired in the mid 70s. So
when the phone call comes, was it a phone call? Was it an email? Was it just the phone rings and you look at it and you say, I think I know what this phone call is about to come back this year. Did you know? And what was that like?
It wasn't a phone call. We all have to have an agent in this part of broadcasting, and I've got one I've had since '83. Bob Rosen, who lives in a very, very nice home in Palm Springs, which I helped pay for. And Bob told me you're going to get it. I went to CBS in the fall of '82 to do college football, essentially, and basketball. Mm-hmm. And in December of that year, I got a call from New York, Susan Arani, and she said, she was our director of production and talent. And she said, Frank Jerkinian, parenthesis, the legendary ex-executive producer, former, passed away about 10 years ago. Frank Jerkinian likes your work and wants to know if you have ever done golf. I'd been at CBS, ABC from 74 to 82. And then went to CBS. And I said, yes, I did probably 10 tournaments. And the next thing I know, I had Frank Jerkinian, the Ayatollah, Armenian American, little jaunty little guy, about 5'6", 5'5". And he's one of the few guys I could look down on. And he's so gruff. And he said, I want to hire you for golf, but I'm only going to start you out with 5 tournaments. Here are the 5. Pebble Beach, Memorial, Jack's Tournament, Byron Nelson Colonial. I lived in Dallas at the time. And we're going to add Memorial. And Nancy and I had a couple of bottles of wine that night. I promise you. I've never, and then he said, I don't want you going into Pebble Beach, which is pretty high profile. I don't want you going in without having one of our telecast under your belt. So I worked the Phoenix Open. And another part of that period of my life that I still vividly remember was I did go work Pebble Beach. I was at 15, and I took Pat Summerall to the airport to Monterey Airport to leave on Sunday. And Pat said, I can't imitate Pat. No one could. But what a tall, great, oh my God.
Yeah.
And he said, I know where they're going to put you, Augusta. I said, really, where? He said, you're going to work 13. Well, 13 is one of the most beautiful spots on a gorgeous golf course. And so I did 13 for 2 years. And then Kenny Venturi announced that he wanted out of the tower. He wanted to come down and work 13. And then when they passed through 13, then get in the cart and go back and climb up and join Summerall. So I had 2 years at 13. I've worked every hole on the back nine now, the second nine. And there's no rough. And those are not fans. I'm getting ready to go to Augusta.
That's great. It's great. But you know what I'm wondering about with Augusta is Verne Lundquist's, by the way, there's a book that Verne has out. So just so we're clear on this book.
Oh dear.
It's actually been out a while, but if you haven't read it yet, when you see the conversation about Tiger possibly playing the Tiger tracker of the tail of the plane yesterday on social media, and your call of 2005 with the chip of like that, when you see him, well, first of all, you have to hope he plays next week.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah. But do you two ever, just the two of you, sit and talk about that call, Vern?
We did briefly. Now I know Jack Nicklaus much, much more significantly than my relationship with Jack, and maybe age related is closer. I'm closer to Jack, and that's not, we're not arm around each other buddies.
Right.
But I don't know Tiger that well. I do. I'm not a collector of autographs, Brad, but that was a significant moment. So over this shoulder, I can look right back here, and there's a signed photograph from Tiger of the chip shot.
You should have given you a red shirt.
I treasure that. Now, you might be able to tell in the background, this is my ego room.
Yeah, that's good. This is mine. It's not nothing compared to yours. It's fine. I have bobbleheads. You have stuff from Tiger. It's fine. I have a book though. I do have a book from Verne Lundquist. So
look here, bobblehead. That only looks like me.
What do you do when you get off?
I have no hair.
When you get off the plane, what are you most looking forward to next week? Before the tournament starts? I'm sure it's the camaraderie with the crew. I'm sure there's that. But what do you walk around the course and say that's different, or it's just exactly the same? What do you do next week? Give the fans.
I will get in a golf cart on Tuesday. We're driving. We're 160 miles from Denver. Okay. So Nancy and I are driving down on Sunday. We'll fly on Monday. I'll be glued to the Final Four here on Saturday night, but I will miss the championship game. This happens every year because we have to fly, and there are no nonstops from Steamboat Springs to Augusta. So, it's
right. That's a tough
Denver,
one.
Atlanta, Augusta. But on Tuesday morning, I'll get in the cart and reintroduce myself to the golf course. I checked the 10-day forecast about 6 times already this morning, and it looks terrific.
Good.
Thunderstorms Wednesday might affect the par 3, but the rest of the week looks clear. And I hope this current storm that is going through and is impacting that part of the country right now, I hope it doesn't knock the azaleas and the magnolias and all the beauty of the flowers. We'll find out. But what I do, Brad, is I drive just to re-familiarize myself and kind of soak it in again. I'll drive on the cart paths all the way around and just pay particular attention to 6 and 13, 6 and 16. But my gosh, 22 years, I kind of know them.
Yeah.
But that's my reintroduction. And Nance and I are going out to dinner with our senior vice president of production and personnel on Tuesday night. Wednesday, we start working, and we have a in-person attendance meeting at our new broadcast center, which is just spectacular. This will be our second year in it, and it's hard to describe. In my view, Augusta National is the best run tournament in the world, and they make sure that everything is first class in this. So anyway, we'll have a meeting there for an hour or so. That's everybody, production people and on the air, and then Thursday we're on the air with ESPN, and Thursday and Friday, and our coverage on the satellite channels will begin Monday. We have this, featured groups on the range, Masters on the range, featured group, Amen Corner, 15 and 16. All those separate feeds are available beginning Monday. And
amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Are there players that you want to, in your space, especially at 16? Not to say there's not a hole that's not important, but you're sitting there, and as the tournament is unfolding, do you need to know a little bit about every player in your preparation, or do you just let the story unfold?
No, I think you do. And we have a fellow named Rick Johns. I'm sorry. I haven't worked with him in a year, but he provides a booklet that thick. And it's a profile of every participant in Augusta, and it is a Bible. Rick Folio, I don't want to misstate who the guy is. He was Gary McCord's statistician and spotter. That ended in 1994. So,
yeah.
But it is like a Bible. And there's a big difference in preparing for a golf tournament, in my view, than there is basketball or football, because there's memorization. You gotta memorize the depth chart, and basketball is a little more limited. But in golf, you don't know out of a field. I think they're 91 this year, and I hope Tiger is one of them. Just parenthetically, I read what Scott Van Pelt said. I didn't see it, but I read it. I don't know if you did. He said, if Tiger shows up and plays, the other competitors can play in the nude and no one will notice.
That's a great line.
Yeah, it is.
That's a great line. Sounds like Scott. That's awesome.
Yeah. This is Jim, I think Nance was the one. I believe he said, after he said, hello, friends, I believe he said a tradition unlike any other. I believe Jim came up with that. And it really, really is. And I've treasured every trip to Augusta since beginning in 83. And I will treasure this one.
That's great. By the way, Vern has a book. Make sure you get it. It is really good. And if you haven't been able to see it yet, it's out there. It is great to visit with you once again, Vern Lundquist. Have fun at the Masters. Thanks.